Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's session, we are going to discuss about one more coding interview question for the freshers, and that is the how to write the Fibonacci series. So we are going to write the Fibonacci series using a Java language. Before we start with the today's video, I want to let you know that we already covered a lot of the Java basic topics coming from the how to write a classes, then constructor, then condition handling, loops. We already covered the strings as well and the string handling method as well. So if you don't have a knowledge about the basics of the Java, I will definitely suggest you to check this playlist for the basics of the Java. So let's start with the today's video. So to write the Fibonacci series, first I will create a new class. I'm giving the name as the Fibonacci. Finish. So what exactly the Fibonacci series? So Fibonacci series is a basically starts with a 0 and 1, and it will add the two numbers and that will create the next number. So 0 plus 1, that will be the 1. Then 1 plus 1, that will be the 2. 2 plus 1, that will be the 3. 3 plus 2, that will be the 5. And goes on 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. 13 plus 8, 21, and goes on. So first, I will create one method, public void series. Okay. And I will define this first two number because the 0 and 1 will be always constant in the Fibonacci series. For that, I will give the int num is equal to 0 and int number 2 is equal to 1. So these are first initial values and I will print this value. I'm removing the ln from this because we want to print this entire series in the one line only. So let me provide the number 1 and number 2 here. I'm giving some spaces here in the print statement, just it to look more readable and it will look good on the console. Just to make it more readable basically. The next thing is I need to write the for loop. So before the for, I'm providing the count as the 20. So I want to run my loop 20 times. Okay. And in the for loop, I'm doing the initialization int I is equal to 2. Because the 0 and 1 we already given this 2 value, right? So the loop will start with the 2 number. And one more integer I need to initialize is the number 3 because we need to add a number 1 and number 2 and then we will get the number 3. So the initialization value int I is equal to 2. My I should be less than or equal to count and my I should be plus plus. I'm incrementing count the I value every time when my loops get executed. Inside the loop, I need to add this number 1 and number 2 and provide the value in the number 3. So add the number 1 and number 2 and number 3, store this value in the number 3. Then the next thing we will print this number 3. Again we will remove this ln to print it on the same line, some spacing just to make it more readable, number 3. The next thing is I need to do is the assigning the values like a swapping of variable values. So whatever the values in the number 2, I want to save that in the number 1. So basically number 1 is equal to number 2. And the next thing is I will save whatever the value in the number 3 into my number 2. Right? So we are just swapping the variable value here for the next addition. because we again need to add this 1 and 1 number, and this will be my output, that is the number 3. But for the again addition, I need to add this number and this number. So we are adding every time the number 1 and number 2, right? So for that, I need to swipe my variable value. So swapping program, we already know about that. The same technique we are using the here as well. Okay. So let me run my program. Now you can see I'm getting the value till my count is the 20. Okay. And I'm getting this Fibonacci series in complete entire line. Correct. So this is the one. So this is the way you can write the Fibonacci series using the for loop. So if you know the swapping program where we saw the two techniques without using a third variable and with using the third variable. So now what the program we saw is that with using the third variable. So we use the third variable name as the number 3, and whatever the value coming as the addition we are storing at the number 3, and then we are swapping that value to the number 2 and number 2 values to the number 1, and again doing that addition till my count is reached. But how we can do that using only a two variable? So let's see that. I will put all this code into a comments line. Okay. And below that, I will write a new code. So the first thing is again we need to do is the initialization. Okay. So I will write this again, the same sentence will come here as well. That is initializing the int number 1, then int number 2, and giving the value as the 0 and 1 and printing that value. So here the next we are using is the while statement. I want to print the number till the addition of these two numbers, that is number 1 plus number 2, is a less than 50. That is this series only. In that case, what I will do in the while, I will put this condition. If my number 1 plus number 2 is less than 50, okay, in that case, what I will do, so for the swapping of two variable, we use the addition and subtraction. The same technique we are using the here as well. So my number 2 is equal to number 1 plus number 2. Okay. And my number 1 is equal to number 2 minus number 1. So let's first print this series and then I will explain you the logic. And we need to print the second number, number 2. Okay. Let's run this program. Remove this ln and run this again. Now we are getting this complete series till the number 34 because I have put this condition. It should be less than 50. I can put it here less than 100 as well. So what my number 1 value is the 0 and number 2 value is the 1. And I'm doing the addition of this two number and the addition will be the 1. So now my number 2 value is the 1. Then in the next sentence, what I'm doing in the next statement, I'm doing subtraction. So now my number 2 value is the 1. And what will be my number 1 value? That is 0. So 1 minus 0, that is 1. Okay. So now my number 2 value is 1 and number 1 value is the 1. In the next loop, what will happen? Then my number 2 value becomes 2. Okay. And here my number 2 value is the 2 minus number 1, that is the 1. Right? So in this case, I will print the number 2 value, that is the 2, and that is our next output. In the next time of loop, I will add these two numbers, that is number 1 plus number 2, that is 3. And here I will subtract the number 2 value is 3 minus number 1 value is the 1, that is 2, right? And we will print this number 2. Then the next time the addition will be the 5 and the series will go on. So we saw how we can do that using the two variables only and with using a three variables as well. So this is the Fibonacci series and this is the most asked interview question at the fresher level or if you are college pass out, right? So you need to understand the logic. Whatever the coding we have used here is just we use a simple for loop and the swapping program. You need to understand the concept, like what exactly the Fibonacci series, how exactly it works, what exactly the logic we need to add here. Then we also saw the palindrome, reverse string. These are the basic programmings you need to know. So that's it for the today, guys. If you have any question, please put down that in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video and have a nice day.